Can you still recall the thrill of tuning the dial and hearing that crackle as your favorite song floated through the summer air? The portable radio was more than just a gadget. It was your loyal companion, tucked beneath your arm on the way to the beach, or perched near you on the front porch as the sun set, a chorus of cicadas in the background. These little boxes brought the world closer, all with the twist of a knob and the satisfying click of the battery cover snapping shut. From the Beatles' first American hits to the crackling urgency of news bulletins, the radio became a soundtrack to first dances, backyard barbecues, and late-night conversations with friends. With their brightly colored cases and distinct tinny sound, 60s radios were a symbol of freedom, letting you carry the pulse of a changing nation wherever you dared to wander. Did you ever tuck one under your pillow, secretly listening long after the lights went out? As we look back on these iconic radios, let's rediscover the magic they brought to our daily adventures, because their story is also a part of yours. Let's turn the dial back and set the stage. The early 1960s, an era when American life was changing at a dizzying pace. Dwight D. Eisenhower's post-war optimism was giving way to John F. Kennedy's youthful promise. Suburbia was booming, and young families wanted more than just modern appliances. They craved connection and entertainment anytime, anywhere. And right in the middle of this cultural shift, the portable radio arrived, tiny, battery-powered and ready for adventure. Before portable radios, families gathered around hefty wooden consoles that demanded attention and real estate in the living room. If you wanted music or news, you were anchored to one spot, often hunched over dials the size of your palm. Early radios were creatures of habit, plugged in, stationary, a fixture rather than a companion. But the 1950s sowed the seeds of change. In 1954, Regency, in collaboration with Texas Instruments, released the first commercial transistor radio, the Regency TR-1. No more warm-up buzz or glowing tubes. It ran on batteries, boasting new silicon technology so advanced it seemed almost magical. By the dawn of the 60s, transistor technology found its stride, shrinking radios to pocket-sized wonders and slashing prices to fit the average American's budget. Suddenly, music and information were not just something you experienced together at home. You could bring them into your own world, wherever that happened to be. The transistor radio, two words that would become synonymous with freedom, ushered in a fresh, independent soundscape. You might not believe this, but in 1962, over 6 million portable radios were sold in the United States alone, a massive leap from just a few years earlier. These radios weren't just a fad, they formed a new, vibrant part of daily life. Who could resist those playful, candy-colored cases and shiny chrome accents? Whether you were a teenager sneaking a top 40 station under the covers, or a hard-working dad tuning in the ball game while mowing the lawn, you found yourself joined by a new companion. Did you know that the first transistor radios were, at first, a little temperamental? Reception could be spotty, and some early models burned through batteries like nobody's business, yet those limitations hardly mattered. For the first time in history, the music you loved and the voices you trusted traveled with you to the lake, the backyard, or even down the block on your evening stroll. It was almost as if the world itself became your living room. Do you remember that feeling of freedom, stepping out with your radio and knowing you'd never miss a beat? As the 60s progressed, the once revolutionary concept of portability quickly became an expectation. Kids wanted radios for Christmas and birthdays. Ads flaunted girls in pedal pushers and boys in crew cuts, showing off their own portable sets. The iconic image of a teenager with a transistor radio pressed to their ear became as much a part of 60s culture as the twist or the shag haircut. Some radios were barely the size of a pack of cards, perfect for slipping into a coat pocket or beach bag. Others, built with a bit more heft, boasted telescopic antennas, multiple bands, and even leather carrying cases, a touch of style for the modern listener. But perhaps the strongest current running through this story is one of accessibility. Until the 60s, radio was largely a shared, communal event. Now Americans could curate their own experiences. Want to listen to baseball while your family chatters away at a picnic? Just click the on button and fade into your own world. Yearning for some late-night rock and roll without waking the whole house? All it took was a single earbud and some careful volume control. That sense of personal choice, of a soundtrack tailored just for you, was something new, something profound. And then there's the relationship between the radio and the era's most significant historical moments. Portable radios became go-to sources for breaking news, from the somber announcement of President Kennedy's assassination to the hopeful coverage of the Mercury and Apollo space missions. Suddenly, history wasn't just filtered through the next day's headlines or evening TV bulletins. You could be raking leaves, fishing by the lake, or grilling burgers in the backyard and instantly be connected to the nation's joy, sorrow, and triumph. Were you one of the millions who heard news of the moon landing first on your portable set? Perhaps surprisingly, the spread of portable radios even helped unite the nation's musical tastes. Thanks to AM band popularity, a hit single out of Detroit or Memphis could sweep across small towns and big cities alike, turning regional trends into nationwide crazes. Hits by the Supremes, Elvis, or the Beach Boys weren't just for record buyers. They filled the air everywhere, anytime someone twisted a dial. The boundaries, once drawn by distance and geography, began to blur under the reach of those tiny, tinny speakers. It's also worth noting that while early portable radios were famously affordable, they quickly became status symbols. The Slimline, the Zenith Royal, Sony's sleek imports all turned heads. Some families even bought multiple radios, one for the kids, another for Dad's workbench, yet another tucked into the camper for summertime adventures. Brands competed fiercely for loyalty, introducing innovations year after year and filling store shelves with new shapes, colors, and features. Did you ever save up your allowance just for the thrill of picking out your very own radio? As the decade advanced, portable radios embedded themselves in the fabric of American life. Whether blasting the top 40 from a lifeguard stand, providing play-by-play at a Little League game, or broadcasting world events to a hushed kitchen, they were always within an arm's reach. In just a few short years, the leap from living room fixture to pocket companion changed not only how Americans listened, but also how they understood themselves and the ever-quickening world around them. But what happened next truly cemented the radio's place as a symbol of the 60s, a wave of innovations and designs that not only made these gadgets more reliable and stylish, but also helped them find their way into every walk of life. The technology itself was marching forward at a breathless pace, and radios of the late 60s looked, sounded, and even worked very differently than those carried at the start of the decade. So, how did manufacturers refine the humble portable radio, and what made these improvements so unforgettable? The answer begins with a little silicon chip that would end up touching every corner of our daily routines. As we reflect on the story of portable radios in the 1960s, it's clear these little marvels were far more than just plastic boxes with dials and antennas. They were our passport to a changing world, the heartbeat of a generation in motion. We began by tracing their early transformation, from clunky living room consoles to the pocket-sized transistor sets that set an entire era on the move. We remembered the way those radios shaped our daily routines, waking us up with the news, keeping us company on lazy afternoons, and providing the soundtrack to backyard barbecues, beach trips, and evenings spent under the wide American sky. every voice crackling through the speaker, every song surfacing from those AM frequencies carried with it memories of freedom, spontaneity, and a bit of mischief. What made the portable radio so extraordinary wasn't only the technology, though those tiny transistors certainly worked wonders, or even the convenience they offered. It was the sense of possibility and personal connection they delivered. Whether you were a teenager in search of the latest rock and roll anthem, or a parent listening in on the ball game while tending the grill, your radio put the world quite literally in the palm of your hand. With just a twist of the dial, you could move from news of a presidential speech to the playful chatter of your favorite DJ, from the intensity of a breaking bulletin to the warmth of familiar music. How many of us slipped a radio under our pillow to listen long after we were supposed to be asleep, as distant stations faded in and out like signals from another planet? Or huddled around a single set with family or friends when something historic was unfolding, the news arriving with all the urgency and intimacy that only radio could deliver? Over time, the design and reliability of these portable radios grew more sophisticated, sleeker shapes, brighter colors, and clearer reception, but the feeling they created stayed the same. They reminded us that we could belong to something bigger, even as we claimed a bit of the world for ourselves. They brought us together and set us free. They were the silent witnesses to the everyday dramas of our lives, the confidants of secret dreams and laughter. In a world before streaming, before constant screens and endless content, just hearing your favorite song on the radio felt like the universe was speaking directly to you. Looking back, these radios became more than just iconic relics. They are touchstones that instantly call to mind youth, family, and those unmistakable moments of pure joy. For many of us, the sound of a radio drifting on the breeze still has the power to transport us back to a sun-warmed front porch, a parked car at the drive-in, or a picnic on a summer hill. What memory comes rushing back to you when you think about your first portable radio, or the songs and stories it brought into your life? I'd love to hear your stories. Share your most vivid radio memories in the comments below. Did you have a favorite station, a beloved radio jingle, or a can you believe it news moment you'll never forget? If this journey back through the soundscape of the 60s brought a smile to your face, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel for more nostalgic spotlights. Maybe even pass this video along to a friend who would enjoy tuning in. After all, these memories are best enjoyed together. There's plenty more to revisit in the weeks ahead, so stay tuned. Like those reliable transistor radios that traveled with us everywhere, the spirit of the 60s is still just a click away, waiting to play your favorite song one more time.